Okay, China Joy gameplay showcase has happened, and there's going to be a lot of discussion and potential doom posting, hype posting, depending on where you sit in this whole situation. But with all the gameplay, nothing's new basically for the most part, and we've got no news, so I'm going to have to find some way to figure out the game's coming out tomorrow. From the lack of no news means games coming out, right? But yeah, my copium is dashed in that regard. But we've got some changes in regards to the dodge, which has been the biggest conversation around this game. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a shame that it's become one of the biggest conversations around the game, right? Because it is a symptom of something greater. I do agree with what Tolbrew said on that regard, right? The dodge in where they're taking things is a worry that means that that's where the game's going to go for the rest of it. But let's hope that that's not the case, right? I think this has become something much bigger than what it needs to be, but I understand why people feel like that, right? Again, I said this with the Tolbro video, that the dodge itself isn't so much the problem, it's a symptom of a problem that could be. But it's, you know, some people do see it as a problem because the way the game will play as well, right? You know, it can be both at the same time. That being said, let's talk about it. We can see here on the endmin, we've got extra stamina bars now. It looks like it's going to work out to 8, right? We've got 3 here, and it doesn't go around as far or even halfway. So we can see that, you know, to take us all the way around, that's going to bring us up to about 8 stamina segments. So we have more stamina in regards to this new version of the game, which is on PlayStation 5. I must say as well, UI looks really clean. Done a good job of that as well. And when they were showing off the building as well, looks like it's really efficient with the console as well, which is really, really good to see. But let's move on and let's talk about this as well. It looks like there's animation cancels if you look back at some of the other gameplay. But we're not going to concentrate on that so much because I'm not really, I don't think that's so important. But it's still another factor of the Genshification, or I guess the Wuthering Wavesification of the game now, if that's even a word. But let's continue on here. We can see, as we get into this bit of combat here, right? We can see our stamina. We've got 3 segments now, and it looks like it's going to be at max 8, right? We can see Chen doing a skill now. It looks lovely. We've got this circle on the ground now, filling out, and we'll see the character do a what looks like, I guess, a perfect dodge, which I'm assuming is giving us invulnerability within that as well. It looks a little bit more forgiving also. Obviously there's a bit more of an indication of where it's happening rather than the circle that we'd get to let us know that a glimmer, I guess you could call it, that the attack's about to happen, that you can dodge. So it's got more of like an MMO kind of thing here again, more stuff on the ground, which I'm not against. I kind of like that sort of stuff, right? I said this when I played the game before. The game's got like a single player MMO kind of vibe to it. And then we can see here, initiates this perfect dodge, which will get this flashy new little animation. And then if we look as well, we can see also that we are gaining SP from it as well. We gain a little bit of SP from it here. This is going to be a big controversial point, right? Which, again, I don't think it has to, because the game still looks amazing. But I do understand why it will. I do. I get it. I still think... I guess, like, you know, I used to laugh because people used to say this about Wuthering Waves, but I suppose for the most part it came true. I think we need to let Hypergriff cook here, right? I think we need to let the devs cook a little bit. I can see how this will bother a lot of people because they're going to see leaning into that more action kind of side of the game. We also need to take into account here, these could be Enmin specific, right? In this video, we only saw Enmin in combat, right, in terms of being the main character, so we're only seeing the dodge and the SP related to the Enmin. Now this might be Enmin specific, this could be class specific, right, in terms of like vanguards or whatever. I would love that to be the case, because I've said this before, I would like it the dodge is tied to things like vanguards and other units maybe have some kind of dodge, but it's a little bit different. It's more of a sidestep, shimmy, and certain classes are based around getting in and getting out, where other classes are stalwarts that stand there and take the damage, right? Like defense tank kind of classes. And then we've got our casters that operate in the back when you're playing as those, and you're really not supposed to be taking damage with those guys, so you operate in the rear. This is my copium for this. For the people who are affected by this in the regards to, because obviously we know that there's a lot of part of the community that really didn't want to see the dodge go down this route. I was always the kind of person that I totally understand why a lot of people don't want the dodge to go down that route, and I somewhat agree in regards to, I would like the combat to be more thought-provoking, more less reactive, more proactive, and more strategic, right? That could still be the case. Again, we don't really have much information that this isn't specific to certain characters or certain classes, or even just the Endmen themselves, right? Which, if it is, I don't think it is going to be specific to the Endmen, honestly, because they're going to want you to be pulling on a lot of other characters, right? And if they make the Endmen a little bit too much specific, well, I don't know, maybe, but you know what I mean? I feel like it would be probably be class specific rather than being unique to the Endmen themselves. That being said, it's a change, and I know it's a change that a lot of people are not going to be happy with. Again, personally for me, we can see as well it doesn't consume stamina as well, which I think that there is a bit of a more problem than the dodge itself and the gaining of SP, and the fact that you can continue on with your combination as well. We can now see that there's not very much of penalization, or you're being penalized for the dodge, right? You're dodging, you're able to do it easier, you're gaining SP, you're not using stamina, you're able to continue the combo. I'm totally cool with being able to continue the combo, and I don't really have much of an issue with the SP regeneration as well, right? I genuinely don't. The stamina side of things, I don't know about that. We'll have to see. Again, this could be specific to the mechanic in the fight, because that's the only time we really saw it, I believe, in the video. Other than that, we were seeing the character purposefully step away from those mechanics on the floor. So this could be specific to that mechanic, right? Which, if it is, I think I'm fine with, because that's the enemies being designed in a certain way and you're tackling them in a certain way. And other enemies, you're not going to get that effect. Which, if they do that, I think it's a non-issue then, in my opinion, because it's going to be specific to enemies. If it's specific to classes or specific to the Endmen, again, I think it's going to be a non-issue, because it's going to be, if you want, just like how it was in Arknights, if you don't want to play the game in a particular way because a character might be broken, let's say, or defines meta, you can just choose not to use them and continue playing the game and having just as much fun, if not more fun, if that's what you get out of the game. So I think that's something that we need to look into, if that is going to be the case. Hopefully we'll get some information from Hypergraph on that, because these are the questions that I think really need to be answered now. Is how exactly is this going to work? Is it tied to that mechanic? Is it tied to a particular kind of class? Is it tied to the Endmen? And how that will be built upon in regards to enemies, if it is like the mechanic. I'm really interested in that now. Again, I think this looked great. I'm a little bit more disappointed, if I'm honest, that we didn't get any kind of news. I thought we'd get something, but alas, no copium for me. But yeah, I am not too upset about this situation, right? But I also want to say, I totally get people who are, right? Because I want to say it's a red flag, but it's a potential red flag that could have ripple effects to the rest of the game and how it progresses in the future, and it becoming another game that tries to be somewhat like games we've already got. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it is a thing to think about. But at the same time, we don't know, right? We don't know, again, as I say, whether it's specific to certain things, such as the enemy in the class, the mechanic itself, whatever. I don't know. We just don't know, right? So as soon as we get more information on that, I will follow up with a video. But I just want to say, I hope this doesn't become the defining conversation of the game, because I don't think it needs to become the defining conversation of the game. The game is much more than this, and hopefully this doesn't dampen people's hype for the game, because I think it still looks an amazing game. It still looks absolutely amazing, and I'm incredibly hyped for it. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below about this whole dodge shenanigans, and hopefully I'll have some copium to bring you guys very soon as well, because I need it, man. We got to turn this into games coming. We got to flip the script somehow. That no news is good news, right? That's the way it goes, right? But anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and what do you think about the dodge? Are we cooked? I'll see you later. Ta-ra.